You've heard me say this before, but you can gain the whole world and lose your soul. And a lot of guys at the top, a lot of men who have external success, all of the outer trappings that you could possibly ever desire, a lot of these guys are suffering. And for some of you, that's hard to imagine because you right now in your life are in a place of survival. You're just trying to learn how to survive. And there's a season for that, and that's okay. You know, we've got to learn how to master survival. But what is very alarming is once you do that, right? You've got financial freedom. Maybe you've built a business that's bringing in more money than you even need. Suddenly there's this void that's still there. A void that you thought would be filled by all of these outer trappings. Or just sometimes it's not a void, it's just like this low hum. You know, this low hum of suffering, like something is off. So a more extreme example, a client that I'm working with, won't say any names, I'll keep it anonymous. About 6 months ago, he tried to off himself, okay? And this gentleman has millions of dollars, let's just say that. And about 6 months ago, he was in the process of trying to take his life, and his assistant found him, essentially. She walked in and was able to prevent that whole thing from happening. And I've been working with this guy for about 2 months now, and we've gone really deep. And essentially, he has gone his whole life and completely neglected his inner world. He's avoided any kind of inner work. He's basically lived his life completely unaware of the spiritual aspect of things, you know? Because this goes much deeper than therapy. How many people do you know who have been in therapy for decades? They show up every week, they talk about their problems, and then like nothing really changes. It's because what they're doing is they're just ruminating. They're just circulating the problems that they have. You know, there isn't any kind of dealing with it. There isn't any sort of treating the cause, essentially. And that a lot of times takes more work than people realize, and it's not sexy, you know? Learning how to get familiar with your inner space. And, you know, it might start out with meditation. For a lot of people, it takes hours and hours of meditation to actually get anywhere. So, for me, one of those paths was plant medicine. You know, sitting with ayahuasca, sitting with psilocybin. And when I did that, then I started to see other aspects of reality that I didn't even know existed. It shook up the snow globe of my perception and showed me like, wow. Yeah, on the surface level, I understand that we're mortal. We only have a short time here as human beings, but I came face to face with things that I can't even put into language, but it shook me at my core and what caused me to change. So I've been doing this kind of deep work with this client now for about 2 months, and he's a totally different person, if I'm being honest with you. You know, he didn't do anything crazy. He's not like blowing up his business or like ending it or anything like that. But now he's like actually having fun with it. You know, he's putting his own creativity into his business. He's kind of reshaping the foundation of it, and he's found new purpose in it, and he's enjoying it. You know, he's still making all this money. He's able to enjoy the outer trappings, but with that deep understanding that that's not where fulfillment is found. That's where fun is found. You become self-contained. And, you know, I can try to go really in depth with what the inner work looks like. But for a lot of you, you know, you're not there yet. You know, you're not able to actually sit with yourself and do the different modalities and spiritual practice and self-inquiry to get to that point where you have inner peace. And sometimes we have to get to a point of suffering or get so tired of the void or so tired of that low hum that we finally take action, you know? And I'll tell you right now, if you're someone like that who has gained the world, but you haven't found your soul, and you've still got that void, that low hum of suffering, then I want you to click the link in the description and book a call with me, and we'll deal with that. And for those of you who maybe you're still at that stage where you haven't mastered survival yet, okay? Like you're really just sort of pinching pennies and you don't quite have that financial freedom yet, then the advice I would give to you is to work on that. You know, it's okay to master survival. A lot of guys, some of them email me, some of them were in my community. A lot of these guys want to skip that stage altogether and just jump to spirituality when they can barely pay their bills. And you can do that, but it gets kind of annoying, right? Because you're trying to do this deep inner work. You're trying to connect with the divine. You're trying to shed certain layers so that way you can, you know, be whole, essentially. But then it gets disrupted because all of a sudden your landlord is knocking on your door asking for rent, and you're stressed out and scrambling now, and it disrupts the work that you're doing. So, you know, the best thing you can do at that point is try your best to do it simultaneously. You know, do a little bit of meditation every day, you know, read some good books. Something that can really help you is like taking a 30-minute walk a day and listen to an audiobook that kind of touches on these spiritual things, and you could just start planting those seeds. So a good audiobook would be like A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle, or The Power of Now. And, you know, for now, it's like work on survival, okay? Figure out how to get your money right, how to be healthy, how to take care of yourself to the best of your ability. And while you level that up, 30 minutes a day, no matter what, go on a walk, listen to this audiobook, you know, start planting those seeds of the deeper aspects of reality. Because at the end of the day, yes, that is the most important aspect, but if you're in survival mode, then, you know, don't use it as a cop-out to get the physical elements right. At least get to a point where, you know, you're a baseline. And if you do that and you start leveling up, you know, say you start building wealth, you start building a business, you start getting raises and things like that, or leveling up at your job, you're going to be at a point where, you know, when you finally catch your breath, because you're finally now not in survival or you have an abundance of money, there isn't going to be this moment of like, holy shit, life doesn't feel worth living. I just gained all this stuff. I went after it thinking that it was going to give me that contentment and give me that peace and that fulfillment, and I'll have it. And the void is still there. What the fuck do I do now? So if I could, you know, have given advice to some of my clients, which a lot of them are, you know, wealthy entrepreneurs, some of them are big influencers, big YouTubers that you've probably heard of. If along the way they kept some of the spiritual things on their peripheral, then they wouldn't need to work with someone like me, where they're like, help me. I have everything. Life doesn't feel worth living. What did I miss? And, you know, keep an open heart, you know, figure out how to tap into your intuition. Have some kind of spiritual practice, you know, whatever it might be. Go out in nature, take walks, get in touch with that part of you that goes beyond form, because, you know, we've only got 70, 80 years in this physical incarnation of ours. And, we're meant to experience all the highs and lows, the ups and downs. But don't get caught up just in the humanity aspect. Okay, get in touch with your divinity. And for those of you that have everything, you've gained the world, you've lost your soul, then you need to slow down a little bit on the external. If you've got $2 million in the bank and you feel this deep void, I promise you $10 million isn't going to be the thing that gives you what you're looking for. It's not going to give you that fulfillment, because ultimately what you're looking for is yourself, and you're disconnected with your truest self, your heart. And that client that I'm working with now, that at one point tried to off himself, now he's just playing the video game of life. He's like, I'm here, I might as well build this business and continue growing it. Let me pivot a few things to where there's an element of creativity that I'm able to put into it so it's fun. Let me add more elements where I know that I'm helping other people and there's a sense of fulfillment. And that's the trick. That's the key, And for you younger guys that think that your salvation is making $1 million, there's plenty of people that have achieved that. There's countless celebrities that have all the status, right? Millions of dollars in the bank. Then you hear stories of them, taking their own life because that void was still there. When the solution wasn't out there, it wasn't external. The solution was within them the whole time. And they just needed to learn how to navigate that and find the truth that was inside of them the whole time. So I hope this video helps you. I just want to bring awareness to that, because I know what it's like to be a young man. I'm 37 years old now. But I remember always looking at these guys and just seeing that they had the car, they had the money, they had the girl, they had the status. And it was like, man, that's why I feel so bad about myself, because I don't have those things. But those same guys, they're not going to tell you, hey, by the way, once you have those things, if you don't continually distract yourself so you don't have to sit in silence and contend with the inner demons inside of you, then life gets pretty dark, man. Life gets pretty empty. That void, it doesn't just fill itself. So go deeper. And if you're one of those guys, click the link in the description. Let's jump on a call. Let's deal with this. And that's all I got for you tonight. And at the very least, just start dabbling in spirituality. Even if you're an atheist, a rationalist, whatever it might be, you don't know what you don't know. Let me just say that. And some of these more divine aspects, the spiritual realm, I can't really put it into language. Nothing I say is truth. The things that I say just point to the truth. And I can't really explain it and make it real for you. You have to experience it yourself. It would be like it'd be like me trying to explain color to a blind person who's never had vision before. It would be impossible. So start digging, okay? Start seeking. You are loved. You matter. And you've barely scratched the surface of what you're capable of. I'll talk to you soon.